Good morning, everyone. My name is SK Liu. I'm the Business Development Director for mSolar, and I'll be moderator for the session today. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for taking time off your schedule to hear us out. I believe that most of you now have gone back to work in office and no more work from home. We really appreciate that. I hope that you find sharing useful today. Today's topic is no to zero capex. A very relevant topic today in light of the challenges of the pandemic and also especially on cash flow and capex. Recently, there was a climate change conference in Glasgow where all the senior members of government attended, and there were a lot of discussions on commitments on using carbon emission, to some going from zero in 2040 or 2050. And one of the solutions to all these zero carbon emissions, of course, solar PV installation. ESG concerns were also another one that came up. Today, a lot of companies, even government, are looking to buy or invest in companies that are compliant to all the ESG regulations. All right. One of them, of course, is the environment. That's why you see recently a lot of the glove and plantation company in Malaysia were blacklisted because of all these adherence to ESG. So they're important, and of course, solar is one of them. Because of all these solar investment have become more generally a lot of interest in Malaysia, in the world, and also in Malaysia. There's also a lot of RPVI out there who are offering zero capex package to entice customers to install solar PV. We are here to give you another perspective and share with you why no to zero capex. Joining me here today are distinguished guests and experts in their own field. One of them is Angie Ng, who is a financial control of A Green Consultancy, and the other one is Skip Ng, who is the commercial director for mSolar. They will be sharing insight and experience on solar investment, financing, and how to maximize your return on solar investment. Our agenda today will be covering sharing from Skip Ng, a dialogue session with our panel, and then questions. Please key in your question in our Q&A tab so that we can review it at the end of the sessions. Let's start off with Skip, who will be talking on no to zero capex. A brief introduction to Skip. Skip comes with more than 10 years of project management and consultancy experience in the solar industry, and he's one of the pioneers in Malaysia in the solar industry, and also he's a co-founder of mSolar Sdn Bhd, a registered SP with SEDAR. Skip graduated from Trinity College in Texas, with a BSc in engineering and MBA. Before starting mSolar as an entrepreneur, Skip worked for various American multinationals such as HP, Siemens, and Western Digital. So I will now pass the stage to Skip. Skip, over to you.
Yeah, good morning to all our friends here. Let me try to share my screen. I know in our midst are a lot of among you are my customers, including recent customer in Ipoh, as well as friends in the industry, and also of course we welcome all our FMM members to join us. So we thank you for taking this time. This morning, we want to talk about no to zero capex. I think we all have seen in social media as well as newspaper a lot of promotion asking us to participate or to take up this advantage of installing solar with no capex. So we would like to this morning look at another angle. What does it mean when we say you buy with our own cash? So before we go into it in full swing, I will very quickly talk about our company. We have 12 years record in the industry. We started right at the point when FIT starts. We have been involved in, of course, the solar farm projects in the FIT era, as well as in the LSS period. We are a consortium partner for the first large-scale solar program, 29 megawatt in Johor. So with all that experience, as well as our CNI projects all over Malaysia. So we are a full EPC company, full scale. So we do all the necessary things for the project. So to start in the front end of it, of course, is energy monitoring. We understand how you use electricity. And if you have joined us earlier in other webinar, we talk about tariff, which is an important part of how we look at consumption of electricity and how solar can help. If you have missed that, maybe in the future, we'll bring this topic again, and how solar help you to save more than possible, because you will then tackle issues of maximum demand and the like. And all this come about with the understanding of how you use electricity in the analytical part of the power consumption. Of course, we are also, as we said earlier, EPC. We do the full work. Recently, we are involved in more than this. We were involved even in the construction of structure for us to put the solar PV. We are involved in, of course, getting the DO from state city council and the like. So another area which we boast about is our financial literacy. A lot of solar companies are run by engineers. We are fortunate that we have a strong finance team that will be able to help you to do financial modeling. So in fact, in the LSS area, we are the contributor to the financial model. And of course, we do the whole works of the application, including make sure that you get your money, what the government have promised you in the incentive. Besides that, in a part of our program, we have done over the COVID, we are involved in some training, and also we are engaged in with the university, with the Monash University. So we are active in this area. So let me go into our main topic. Our claim is, as usual, I will tell you what I'm going to tell you. My whole story is that if you invest in the solar PV system yourself, your cost of electricity is probably at this around 13.8 cents per kilowatt hour compared to what you're buying from TNB, anything between 40 cents or more. Versus if you would have signed up for a zero capex deal with any of the RPVI registered photovoltaic investors, you will be signing up for a deal that allow you to save anything between 15–18% to as much as maybe 30 to 40%, and you are probably buying electricity at about 28 cents. Maybe some may be more aggressive and tell you can do it at 26 maybe, and you have to sign a PPA for a period of 20–25 years. So this is the whole story that we are going to talk about in our presentation today. So this is the background, is one of the advertisement shown by our friends on Zero Capex. And what does Zero Capex promises? Of course, we look at it and say there's zero risk because you don't put out your money. The investor will handle all your maintenance, and you will just enjoy the lower cost of electricity. So that is the whole assumption of Zero Capex. And however, in all the promotion, nobody tells you about what you are getting into. So you are probably looking at a power purchase agreement, anything between 20–25 years. Recently, I saw one deal doing at 15 years. However, these investors actually have to contend with the regulation, leasing regulation, and you normally will pull to 20 to 25 years. So important part in this whole thing is that read the fine print. What does the fine print say when you sign up for a power purchase agreement? 25 years, can you opt out? How do you opt out? How much compensation you have to pay to the investor? Yeah, those are the fine prints that you need to look at and understand. So these are the pros and cons of the zero capex. So as we mentioned a moment ago, zero capex means no upfront, no maintenance costs, pay as you generate. Okay, or some customers are looking at pay as you use, because not all the energy generated may be used in your facility. Yeah, so look at this angle, and of course trouble free. Somebody do everything for you. You just have to sign the papers, and of course no financing cost. On the other side of it, okay, the cons is that you are sharing your potential savings with somebody, external party. Okay, and in running an operation, you understand that whatever you save in your operation will be reflected in your bottom line. So you can also look at it as you are losing the opportunity to generate more profit, more income. And of course, this other advantage is the disadvantage is the long lock-in period of 20-25 years. So you are pretty inflexible, or you are stuck with a agreement, probably for a $2 million, $4 million, $5 million type of agreement, which doesn't allow you to, for example, if you would sell your property, you move on to a bigger property, or your business go another way, you want to sell the property for whatever reason, then you are stuck with this agreement, and you must then look for how you can get out from this type of arrangement. So those are the issues that you have to handle. These are the disadvantage of the PPA, zero capex. Yeah. So the other question that nobody addressed is that, can everyone enjoy zero capex? No, not everybody can enjoy this zero capex. Why? Because the investors will look at you in the same way as the bank does. So they look at you look at all your financial history, how you have been operating in your environment. So it's not for everybody, and the developer of course have to cover their own risk. The point to note is that if you have a lower risk, if you are running a very profitable organization and you have more history, then of course your cost of energy will be lower from the developer versus somebody you have set up a new operation and you want a zero capex, then you probably won't get the 28 cents. They will give you a 33 cents or 35 cents, because then your risk profile is higher. So not everyone can enjoy a zero capex deal. So our proposition is that, what if you can create your own risk-free investment? We talk so much about, hey, you are paying so much more for your zero capex, but if you can create your risk-free investment, then is that the way to go about? But how? So our proposition is this. Okay, to make that part of the money yourself, you will have, of course, to look for a reputable service provider, somebody who have the history of implementing successful projects. Secondly, to ensure that you will receive the power generation as you promise, you will then need to tie up for a period of years. In this case, we are proposing 10 years. You can also go and match the developer 25 years with a maintenance contract with a performance guarantee. Okay, all these are very scientifically done in terms of what is possible for the performance of the system. So the banks will look at it the same way. The bank will look at your installer, your EPC, as well as what are the ways you can ensure your generation of your energy. The third step is, of course, insurance. Just like all the other financial instruments that is being created, you will need to cover your investment with a solar focused insurance. Okay, I said solar focused insurance because not all insurance that covers solar is the same. Okay, incidentally, the insurance by Solar Pro will cover your daily generation. Okay, it will ensure that if you are not generating, and you can then claim from the solar company. So with this, you will be ensured that, hey, you will have the necessary input and output. Input meaning your investment, and output meaning the generation of solar that is coming out. So with all this information, then you can confirm what is your levelized cost of energy. So what is meant by levelized cost of energy? Essentially, it is the cost of your capital plus all your maintenance costs and all the other whatever costs that get into the whole picture of this generator, this solar PV system. And over the period of the life of the system, you can decide whether you want to say, okay, I want it in over 10 years, or you want it over 25 years. Divide the total capital expenses by the total energy generated, and that is your levelized cost of energy. So then you can, of course, use that to compare, like I did earlier, compare with your power purchase agreement, your no zero capex type of deal. Then you will have a more objective way to look at which is the way to go. So I will go into some numbers that show you, hey, this is how it is. Okay, so assume that you sign up an agreement for a 1 megawatt PV system. The market price depends on how difficult your installation is. Anything 2.5 million, maybe to 3 million. Okay, your maintenance cost is about 3%, 2.5–3% of your capex. And of course, you allow inflation on the maintenance cost over the period you are taking into consideration. And in the financial model which we built for our customer, we will take into account the degradation of the solar PV system. Then we will build a financial simulation. So this is how a simple financial simulation is. The bottom part is what we normally provide for our customer. You will see in this very complicated chart, latitude, longitude, because where you are determines how much energy can be generated by the system. And you take into account the degradation of the system, of course, your capex and your generation and your value of electricity. Then we will come out with your payback and the like. And in this example, we take into account your incentive, your capital allowance, as well as your investment tax allowance. So if you take the total number right now, total number meaning your O&M cost, add in it inflation, add to it your capex, and divide it by the total generation of your system over the period of time you want, either 10 years or 25 years. My earlier assumption is 10 years. And if you compare the 10 years with the zero capex 25 years, you are getting 13.8 cents versus the 28 cents. Or if you actually take the same period as 25 years, you are looking at 8.6 cents versus the 28 cents that the investors are claiming from you. So you see the big difference in there in this whole proposal. this is a summary of what I mentioned just now, what it would be for 10 years and what it will be for 25 years. So if you have a 1 megawatt system, over the life of 25 years, you are expected to generate about 29 million kilowatt hour. Okay, if you are in tariff E2, the kilowatt hour cost is 0.355 cents per kilowatt hour, and over the 25 years, you are expected to generate the 15 million or so of electricity. The actual number varies in certain ways and depends on how you accumulate the number, because your power generation, I mentioned earlier, can impact your maximum demand, and that will be an additional savings on your total system. If you go into a zero capex type of arrangement, assume 28 cents per kilowatt hour, you will be paying to the developer, the person who financed your deal, 11.8 million, about that. And of course, over 25 years, you save 3.4 million, and depends on how you juggle a number, you may be able to save more or less, and also depends on your tariff type. If you are tariff D, of course, you will save as much as another 80%, 70% from this number. Now, if you are doing a direct purchase and you take into account your total O&M costs, you will be probably spending a $2.93 million in terms of your total lifetime expenses of your solar PV system. And of course, if you take that into account, your savings over 25 years is a good, 12 millions or more. So there's a lot of advantage of us going into this direct purchase rather than zero capex. So why is there such a difference between the zero capex and the self purchase model? Okay, one of the reasons is that because of the incentives by the government, as a property owner, as a factory owner, you will enjoy from MIDA a double tax deduction, which if you are taxed at 24%, you will enjoy a 24% savings on your capex. And of course, you will take your other incentive into account, your CA, you save as much as 48% of your capex. Now, of course, your developer, besides paying the bank, okay, they will have to enjoy a certain amount of profit, and that will eat into the amount that you are saving, or is your portion of the income. Yeah, so that is another reason why there's the difference. And of course, the proprietor will give you a buyout option, so you will then decide, when you want to. If you want to buy out after you run a system for some time, you're very confident, yeah, that's what you are benefiting, and you want to enjoy more benefit, so you will tell the investor, hey, I want to buy out the system. But you must note that if you buy out a system from the developer, you will not enjoy this incentive from MIDA anymore. So this is what I am saying. Doing zero capex solar is like buying a PV system on a credit card, and that you will be paying this over a 20-year period. Yeah. So the choice is yours, whether you want to enjoy, or you want to take advantage of how much electricity you use and enjoy the savings, or you let someone else share this with you. So M-Solar, as I said earlier, we are a SME company with 11-12 years of experience. We are owner-run. We run our operation ourselves, and our cost structure, because of the projects that we are doing, our cost structure is as competitive as any of the boys down the street. And we are registered company with SEDA. Besides that, we are TNB vendor and we are CIDB grade 7 company. So these are some of our project reference. We completed 10 factory all over Malaysia, 2.4 megawatt for Ajia listed company in Bursa. In 1 year ago, we completed the project. Currently, this is a project we talk about. We are building for HubSingStar a full integrated metal structure. On top of it, we will put solar PV. The project is ongoing. We have started fabrication of this system. On the background of this photo is something you will not see often in Malaysia. We are doing special enhanced solar harvesting. Normal solar installation will be flat on the roof. We lift it up to face east to enjoy the morning sun, because on the west side of this is a tall building, incidentally also by HubSing, and we will cast a shadow over this in the later in the afternoon. So we harvest as much energy as possible. This is just to showcase our technical understanding of solar PV. And of course, we are involved also, as much as I said no to solar PV investment, we assist investors who are interested to register as a solar PV investor as on a consultant basis. Yeah. And as I mentioned earlier, we are partners to LSS program. And on top of that, these are 2 projects that we are working with. We are working at this moment. In fact, my team is in Ipoh as well as in KL Cummins. Both are international companies, and we have these are tough projects because we have to meet very high demanding safety, international safety standards. So these are the sample of the projects that we are doing and we have done recently. Yeah. So that concludes my presentation. I would like to pass the time back to SK. So thank you for your patience. So we will go in and answer some questions. Yeah. SK, back to you.
Thank you, Skip, for your very informative and enlightening presentation. Give us very good insight on why you said no to zero capex. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question concerning Skip topic, can you put it? You can type it in the Q&A tab, and we will answer it later in the session. Now, coming up next, we're having a dialogue session with our guests. And I'd like to introduce our second guest in this dialogue. Her name is Miss Angie Ng, and she's from A Green Energy Consultancy. Brief introduction of Miss Ng. Angie is a qualified accountant, and she was a financial controller for a listed company, one of the pioneers in the Malaysian renewable energy industry. Currently, she provides financial modeling and consultancy for green financing for large-scale solar projects, commercial industrial projects, as well as dealing with various government agencies such as MIDA, FGTC, NHD, regarding application for tax related to green investment allowance. All right, we'll start the question. The Malaysian government have given a lot of incentives to promote the acceleration of green solar PV installation. Maybe Angie, you can maybe elaborate on what are these incentives available and how to our participants can get access to it. Over to you, Angie.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, SK. Good morning, everyone. Maybe we look at some slides to help us to understand what is this incentive that the government has for the green technology. Yeah, in the budget 2015, the Malaysian government has introduced this green investment tax allowance, which is for the incentive period of 2013 to 2020. The investment tax allowance here says 100% of this capex or this investment in green technology project is allowable. But for every year of assessment the allowance that you can offset is up to 70% of your statutory income. Any unutilized amount is then carried forward to the following period until it's 100% absorbed. Yeah. To understand further, maybe we look at the next slide. We talk about when you invest or when the company invests in a capex for solar or any green technology, they are able to enjoy double tax deduction. With the double tax deduction, it means that the company will have a capital allowance for any, just like when you purchase any capex, you will enjoy a 20% initial allowance and a 14% annual allowance. Yeah. In addition to that, for green technology, you will have this green investment tax allowance, which we call GITA in short. Yeah. In the recent budget 2020, this has been extended for another 3 years till 31st December 2023. We don't anticipate that this incentive will further be extended. Yeah. Therefore, that's why earlier Skip says that if you want to go into buying a solar PV system, it's best to do it now, because before this incentive cease. Yeah. To help us understand more, let's look at some sample or some illustrations here. Here we are comparing a company with the tax incentive and without a tax incentive. Both companies has got a profit before tax of 1 million. For company A, it does not invest in any green incentives. Therefore, the tax payable at 24% is 264,000. For company B, it invests in a solar system of 500,000. So for the first year, it is the company is able to enjoy capital allowance made up of the initial allowance and also an annual allowance, which is 20% and 14%. That is 34 in total, 34% of the 500,000. That's where the 170,000 comes about. Yeah, and after that, we arrive at statutory income. Again, the company can now set off a GITA. The GITA is limited to 70% of the statutory income. If you take 70% of 930,000, is about 600,000. But here, it's below the 70%. So the company gets to set off in year one itself the full amount of the capex for the incentive tax allowance, and the chargeable income become 430,000. The tax payable, can we go back a bit? Yeah, okay. The tax payable then becomes 103,000. You will then see a tax savings straight away in year one of 160,000, which is a tax savings of 32%. For year 2 and till year 6, there's a tax savings claim from the CA of 16%. In total, the company will enjoy a tax savings of 48%. Yeah. So it's 48% of the capex. That's how we arrive at the 240,000. Yeah. Let's look at another illustration where here the company has got a lower profit before tax of 200,000. Earlier we show a company with a profit before tax of 1 million. Here, the company again invest into a capex of 500,000, the same. For year one, again, it is able to enjoy 170,000, same as the illustration one. But then it will have a statutory income of only 40,000. For GITA, remember the 70%, the limit is 70% of the statutory income, which is 28,000. So out of the 500,000 GITA that is able to enjoy, it will use up a 28,000 only. Whatever balance will then be carried forward to the subsequent years. Yeah. And then we arrive at tax payable of 2,800. Yeah. In the subsequent year, from year 2 to year 5, or year, it will continue to have the initial, the annual allowance of 70,000. And for year 6, it will have a annual allowance of 10%, yeah, which is 50,000. The subsequent period, year 2 to year 5, the company is again enjoy 70% of the statutory income, 70% of 140,000. That's how we arrive at 98,000. So they will continue to deduct against the capex amount of 500,000 for the subsequent periods until it is fully absorbed. This is how it works, yeah, for the capex and for the CA and also for the KITA. Yeah. If there's any questions, maybe we can discuss later. Yeah.
Thank you, Angie, for very detailed and interesting explanation on the incentive given by the Malaysian government. I can see from all these presentations by Angie, the Malaysian government is giving a lot of incentive to promote solar PV installation. However, as what Angie said, the incentive expired in 2023. So I think those are interested should go ahead to apply for it. All right. Let's go to another question. There are a lot of also question asked about from potential customers that what is the risk if they use their own capex? You know, zero capex said I don't need to have any upfront, but what's the risk? Skip, can you enlighten us on it?
Yeah, I mentioned about this in passing or in a slide just now. Essentially, there's no risk because, or I would say, the bank is willing to take up this risk. So I assume that if the bank can take up this risk, then you will also be able to take it up. And what is the bank looking at? You know, for a large-scale solar program, the bank will look at, of course, the developer, who that company is. They will look at the equipment set. They look at what are the materials you buy. Are you buying some unknown brands? The bank will look at who is your EPC. You know, who is what type of experience they have. How many systems have they done before? And yeah, that will give them the security of how good the system is. Of course, after that is how well you plan to maintain your system. That's where the maintenance come in. The maintenance is an important part of the whole project. Although we always said, you know, solar, there's no moving part, but you still have to do washing, you still have to inspect, you still have to do some cleaning now and then. So those are the important part of it. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, important part is to wrap the whole thing with an insurance. And with that, you are in safe hands. So I would say, of course, you say that, you know, you are a solar provider and you say there's zero risk, but this is the logical progression. And as I mentioned over and over again, a lot of investors, a lot of banks are looking at solar because it's not a new technology. It's a technology more than 50 years old. And you have really literally billions of investment, both in terms of manufacturing as well as in installation all over the world. So that is my take. Yes, SK.
Thank you, Skip. Well, as mentioned by Skip, there's no risk if you use your own capex to finance your own solar PV, but the return is very high. So looking at the return, it's much better than you put your money in the bank or maybe invest in other low bonds returns. All right. So the other concern or interesting question being asked, you know, that RPVI in the advertisement that you've seen, they said, yeah, you can save $500,000 ringgit over the course of the 20 or 25 years lifespan if they sign up with them. Skip, can you maybe share your perspective on it?
Yeah, so it is, as I say, we can talk with numbers, talk with statistics. So yes, you just now we mentioned also that if you would go into a long-term agreement, you compare to the amount you'll be paying our grid, our tenaga, there will be a savings, and it's accumulated over 25 years. Of course, you add into it the component of inflation, you will have quite an amount actually. Important part of it is your tariff. If you are, especially if you are tariff B, we are 50 over cents tariff, or tariff D, you will see that $5 million very easily, 5 million ringgit very easily as a savings with you, and when you engage with the when you engage with a zero capex service provider, whereas as I indicated here, if you would take the savings yourself, you will be seeing something much longer. So I want to say it this way, because the difference is so big, you can lavish, you can say, okay, I have some risk, but you can lavish the additional money into maintenance, into ensuring that, hey, I get what I pay for. Because some people buy an asset and then let it go its way naturally, and of course it deteriorates over time. But you will see the long-term perspective, the savings you are looking at, then you will spend the money, the thing to maintain it and make sure that the generation is there. As I said, the manufacturer give you a warranty, the insurance give you a warranty. You are covered actually right and left by very big institutions that actually are backed by billions of dollars. So you should not look at it as as a very risky investment. Yeah.
Wow. Well, Skip, there's definitely a lot of saving, all right? I look at it, 12 million over 25 years. The return is fantastic, right? Compared to if you invest the money, even in your own business, because most business today getting maybe a less than 10% margin. This is fantastic. And I think there's something that you guys should think about.
Yeah.
All right. So there are other questions that recently, there are a lot of supply chain issues in the world where products are not being available, costs have been going up, shipments are jammed up, and this increased the cost of capex on the solar PV materials. Can you enlighten us on more on this, Skip?
Yeah, we are telling our customer or even our friends, overall there is an increase on solar PV pricing. Panel price have increased by as much as 50%. The material costs have also gone up substantially. However, our industry is very, very competitive, and I would say compared to the component cost, our basic structural increase is maybe 20%, 15 to 20% compared to 1 year ago. What I want to emphasize is that there is never a better time to invest in solar because of the government incentives and because of what is the quota given by SEDA and the like. The last NEM quota is taken up, 300 megawatt is taken up within a period of 2 to 3 months. That is very, very significant. And now we are basically going to a time where we can go without some of this quota, and with the government incentive, in fact, government is also looking at this incentive very, very closely, because although we are giving it the way it is, there is there's an end period. It's the 2023 is the last the date that you can enjoy this extra 24% savings if your tax rate is 24%, and you have to have the project finished by 2023. Of course, you as NG may have illustrated, whether you look at it, you saw it. You can, after you finish your project, then you can continue claiming your capex over a period of time. Depends on when you finish claiming those things. So yeah, the cost of installation have gone up, but it is everybody have wake up to it. What other investment will allow you to get back payback period of less than 3 years, and as well as ROI of 30% IRR of 30% in most cases, in many cases. So it is a very good investment, even in this troubled time.
Thank
Yes.
you, Skip. Thank you, Skip, for the explanation. As you guys can see from what we discussed in the last few questions, that it's a time to invest in solar PV is now, because all the government incentives are there, and also potential increase in the cost of materials. So there you are, everyone. Why we said no to zero capex? As we all know, there's no free lunch in this world. If you let a developer finance the capex for you, they will make up with the profit. All right. So instead of that, if you put your money yourself, you have much higher returns. Okay. Now is the Q&A sections. I'm sure you all are eager to ask questions. Those of you who want to ask questions, can you please type it into the Q&A box so that we can look at it. We will try to answer as many questions as possible within the time limit. Mr. Krishnan Gopalan, the tax allowance for local company are applicable to MNC, NG?
As long as the company is paying the corporate tax, they can enjoy this incentive. Yeah. So we have done for clients, MNC clients, application to MIDA for their tax incentives here.
So of course the local company who pay tax will definitely qualify, right?
Yeah, yes.
So the other question from Sandy Yo is, if I'm unable to claim all the JITA in 2023, can I claim it in 2024? Yes, as long as I got the pool before 2023, can I claim it later? Okay,
I think it's my question. I need to answer this again. Yeah. Okay, it says the ITA is until 31st December 2023. The thing is, you need to put in your application and acknowledge by them by December 2023. After that, the approval, they will take a process to come up with the approval letter. With the approval, in the approval letter, they mention that your project must be completed within 12 months from the date of this approval letter. So if you put in December 2023, they probably come out with the approval letter in 2024. And then within 12 months from that date, you need to complete your project. And then we'll go to MGTC for validation letter. With the validation letter, you can then start claiming your incentive in your corporate tax filing. And you can continue to bring it over as long as you cannot finish your ITA over the next years until you fully utilize. I hope that answered the question for you, Sandy.
Thank you, Angie. Next question from Mr. Chong. Say, my building is under lease. Can I enjoy tax incentive if owner invest?
I want to pitch. I'm going to cut in right now because I think that as far as we are concerned, our experience, yes, you lease the building, you can. A question that is frequently asked is that what does it cost to shift it to another place? The actual manpower, logistic cost is not significant, probably 15% plus minus of your capex. You can have decommission and reinstall another place. So we have done for customer who lease the buildings, and yeah, they are enjoying the incentives doing so. And I want to emphasize again, your payback is so short. You're talking about less than 3 years, and even you say, okay, fine, you know, after you'll be there for next 5 years. I would say you should do it, and you enjoy your savings, your extra income, and then when you move to another place, you continue to enjoy that. Yeah. So yes, this is a common question being asked, by my customers.
Thank you, Skip.
So I want to address another question. I saw Mr. Gopayas have mentioned about what is the real useful life of solar PV system. If you Google, okay, I just say if you Google, ask Mr. Google, there's an old system in Germany that lasts probably more than 40 years right now. It's still functioning. From our own experience, system that we built 10 years ago are still running. Of course, you have to maintain it. As I mentioned, you have to, the inverter may be one of the weak link of the whole thing, and the warranty is normally 5 years. You can extend to 10 years, but the mean time between failures of the inverter is depends on your suppliers, anything between 10 to 15 years. And as long as you are in our whole financial model, we did add into a cost to maintain or to change your inverter. So you need to do that. So yes, the panel life is very long. They give you 25 years yield warranty. In fact, the new panel coming out, some of them glass to glass, they give you 30 years yield warranty. So your life of the panel, the system is, yes, I would say more than that. And I'm not just claiming. I think if you look into internationally, there are a lot of systems that have last longer than that. And there are a lot of study research in the US talking about the not just the life, but what is the power generation of your solar PV system. I hope I answered that. Yeah.
Thank you, Skip. Inchikpao Hamza is asking, the example show power purchase of 1 megawatt. What's the minimum power purchase rate in order for it to be a feasible investment? Skip.
Solar is very scalable. We have done system for commercial system 30, 50 kilowatt. So it is just that your capex will be higher, but still your payback is pretty good. So there is not really a minimum. If you do a residential system, your absolute so-called your payback is on the other extreme. You're looking at probably 6 years of payback. But your commercial system, again, if you look back into its tax incentives and all that, you are looking at even a very small system, you are looking at 3 to 4 years time of payback. Yeah.
Thank you. And now Mr. Chin Kian Tan said, my head office approved the solar project, the more favorable for full capex. Do we have a package? I think the answer is definitely yes, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So Mr. Tan, you can contact us, or you can leave your contact number to us. We will contact you, and we can do a presentation on our package to your company. All right. So I think that's all the questions that we have today. I didn't see any more. All right. So thank you, everybody. On behalf of M Solar and AG Consultant, we'd like to thank you all for joining us today, and we hope you have enjoyed today's webinar and take home some meaningful insight and help your energy saving and your solar investment. All right. So do get in touch with us. We have our contact here. And then we will see how can we help you with your questions and your concerns. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for spending the day with us. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for your participation. If there's anything else we can help you, please contact us. Yeah, thank you.